Yeah, hi. Welcome to Civils Online, your affordable personal coach. And this is part of Civils Exam Current Affairs series, and this is your daily dose of current affairs. This is for the date Sunday, 21st February 2016. So reading complete newspaper can be hectic and time consuming. So every day we select one or two topics from the newspaper which are relevant to civil service preparation and the format needed for it. So that particular topic is called as topic of interest and which will be discussed in detail with case in point and important terms to give you exactly what you need to focus upon. And coming to today's topic of interest, it is Nepal PM Oli's visit. India and Nepal ink pacts even as Madeshis threaten blockade. So this is about India and Nepal bilateral relations and the present issue that has been going on in Nepal. So Nepal's Prime Minister KPS Oli came on a 6-day trip to India, and his trip is to restore ties between Nepal and India that drifted apart over the past year due to political crisis stemming from Nepal's new constitution and then Madheshi protests against it and economic blockade of Nepal. So this is the current issue. Let's look at the case in point, the background of this issue. So what we need to know from civil's point of view. So we need to know how Nepal is a neighbor, special neighbor to India, and what are the Nepal and India's relations since history, and what are the reasons for the present crisis in Nepal and crisis in India-Nepal relations as well. What is the constitutional crisis in Nepal and what Madheshis are demanding and what is the way forward, and India's hand in Nepal's democratic transformation and not even in Nepal, for the whole of South Asia. So let's look at this case in point. Nepal, a special neighbor to India. So Nepal is a landlocked country located along the Himalayas and bordered to the north by China and to the south, east and west by India. So it is bordered by only two countries, China and India. So the Nepal is mostly a mountainous region, and world's top 10 tallest mountains are located in Nepalian Himalayas, including Mount Everest as well, which is the highest point on earth. The southern region is called Terai, which is a plain region which is fertile and humid. Majority of Nepalis are Hindus, the highest percentage of any country. Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini, is located in Nepal. And India and Nepal has deep-rooted people-to-people contacts of kinship and culture. And many millions of Nepali citizens live and work in India. So let's look at India-Nepal bilateral relations. So whenever you talk about India and Nepal bilateral relations, you have to remember this 1950 Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship. I just repeat, 1950 Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship, according to which the provisions of it says Nepalis have same economic and educational opportunities as Indians in India and preferential treatment to Indians compared to other nationalities in Nepal. The Indo-Nepal border is open. Nepalis and Indians may move freely across the border without passports or visas and may live and work in either country. However, there are some restrictions on Indians in Nepal in terms of work and owning property, just to avoid any disadvantage to Nepalese people. So Indians aren't allowed to own land properties or work in government institutions in Nepal, but Nepalis contribute to India by working in Indian government institutions, except in some states, and some civil services like IFS, IAS, and IPS strictly ask for Indian nationality to be eligible. The Indian Army maintains 7 Gorkha regiments consisting of Gorkha troops recruited mainly from Nepal. So this is 1950 Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Coming to economic relations side, Indo-Nepal trade continues to remain massively in India's favor because Nepal depends on India for most of its goods and services. And Nepal's main imports from India are petroleum products, motor vehicles, and much more, many products. Nepal's export basket to India mainly comprises jute goods, zinc, textiles, etc. Indian firms are the biggest investors in Nepal, accounting for the most of Nepal's foreign direct investments. India gives a lot of developmental assistance to Nepal, financial and technical, in the fields of infrastructure, health, water resources, education, rural and community development, border infrastructure development like roads in the Terai region, development of cross-border rail links. There was a massive earthquake in 2015 in Nepal, and India gave assistance to Nepal in that calamity. So India swiftly dispatched National Disaster Response Force teams and special aircrafts with rescue and relief material to Nepal. Water resources and electricity. Because many rivers originate in Nepalese Himalayas and they flow to plains of India. So there are many major water deals between Nepal and India. Some of them are Kosi Agreement, the Gandak Treaty, and the Mahakali Treaty. And India has also been providing assistance to Nepal in strengthening the embankments of various rivers like Lalbakeya River, Bagmati River, and Kamla River. And electricity, yeah, there are many projects like Pancheshwar Multi-Purpose Project, Arun 3 Hydroelectric Project, Upper Karnali Hydroelectric Project, and there are many transmission interconnections between the bordering areas, which make it possible for the exchange of electricity and power trade. So coming to disputes, yeah, there are some disputes between India and Nepal. Nepal sometimes play China's card against India. So along with India, Nepal also shares its land border with China, Tibet region of China. So China being Nepal's neighbor, which provides substantial assistance because of its huge economy size, and it tries to neutralize India's efforts and influence in Nepal. Recently, like Nepal also claimed that Lipu Lake Pass, which was mentioned in India-China joint statement, is a disputed price sanction in which Nepal has an equal share. That's what Nepal claimed. And India imposed a 15-month blockade in 1989-1990 when Nepal bought a batch of Chinese weapons. Human trafficking in Nepal is a serious concern, and many thousands of Nepalis in India are believed to have been trafficked. Coming to the most important topic here, that is constitutional crisis in Nepal and recent developments. So to know about constitutional crisis and the recent developments like protests of Madhesis and economic blockade of Nepal borders, we have to know the political history of Nepal, the political transformation of Nepal. Then only we will get the root cause of the issue. So Nepal had been a monarchy throughout most of its history, and Nepal was ruled by the Shah dynasty of kings from 1768 until 2008. Then there was a decade-long civil war involving Communist Party of Nepal Maoist, followed by weeks of mass protests by all major political parties, which led to the important 12-point agreement in 2005. The ensuing elections for the first Nepali Constituent Assembly in 2008 favored the abolition of monarchy and establishment of democracy. That is, Nepal to be constituted as federal multi-party representative democratic republic. So despite continuing political challenges, I mean, there have been some challenges in implementing this first constituent assemblies decisions, but the framework remained in place. But there was a second Nepali Constituent Assembly in 2013, and there were efforts to create a new constitution. In these few years, again, a new constitution need to be designed again. So in September 2015, a new constitution was announced in this Constituent Assembly, and the Constituent Assembly was transformed into a legislative parliament. But the new constitution was perceived as non-inclusive of ethnic Madheshi and Tharu groups. Protests broke out among these groups, which live primarily in Nepal's southern plains and have close cultural and linguistic ties across the border with India. So, as a result of this instability in Nepal, Indian trucks carrying critical supplies to Nepal, including fuel, food, and medicine, etc., refused to cross the border, resulting in a de facto economic blockade. And the Nepali government obviously alleged that the Indian government had encouraged the blockade to apply leverage on Nepal to pursue constitutional reforms. Since then, the relations between the two countries strained, with anti-India sentiment growing amongst the government and people of Nepal. So this is about the constitutional crisis in Nepal and the economic blockade and the current burning issue and the diplomatic strains between India and Nepal relations. What is the way forward? So, though the tensions continue within Nepal even now, but with India's persistence, the Nepali government agreed to agreed to these reform demands and implemented a critical constitutional amendment as a first step towards reconciliation and inclusive government. So, on this backdrop, the Prime Minister of Nepal Oli's visit represents an important moment for both countries to set the diplomatic ill will that emerged over the past several months behind and chart a new path forward. Let's hope the democratic transformation in Nepal will go on and Nepal will, move to the path of economic and social development. So, India, South Asia, and the democratic transition. So, apart from Nepal, so India has been leading the democratic transition, and India has set an example for democratic transition in South Asia, that is, the neighboring countries of India. The SARC Charter of Democracy declares that convinced that undemocratic and unrepresentative governments weaken national institutions, undermine the constitution and the rule of law, and threaten social cohesion and stability in the long run, we hereby commit to strengthen democratic institutions and to reinforce democratic practices. That's what the SARC, identified and vowed to follow. So in this picture, India is often seen as a beacon of democracy in a turbulent region of South Asia. In spite of its daunting scale of geography, the great diversity of its people, and the persisting issues, still India has consistently maintained democratic institutions and a free and fair election process, which have eluded many of its neighbors in South Asia. So let's know this India's experience will help these countries for their democratic transformation. So let's see what are the important terms here. What is Terai region? It's a plain landscape south of the outer foothills of the Himalayas. This lowland belt is characterized by tall grasslands, scrubs, sal forests, and swamps. North of the Terai region is called Bhabar, a narrow but continuous belt of forest about 8 to 12 kilometers wide. Who are Madeshi and Tharu groups? These people inhabit the flat southern region of Nepal. What is NDRF, National Disaster Response Force? It is a force constituted for the purpose of specialist response to a threatening disaster situation or disaster under the Disaster Management Act of 2005. What is a monarchy? It is a form of government in which sovereignty is actually or nominally embodied in one individual, reigning until death or abdication, and the power is generally transferred through inheritance to his or her successors. What is 12-point agreement of Nepal? It is between the seven-party alliance and the Maoists of Nepal at Delhi in November 2005 to establish full democracy by bringing the autocratic monarchy to an end through a nationwide democratic movement of all forces. What is SARC? South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It is an economic and geopolitical organization of 8 countries that are primarily located in South Asia, or also known as the Indian subcontinent. So this is today's topic of interest. And let's go to other news items. Sam Pitroda gets bail in the National Herald case. Jat reservation stir escalates in Haryana and vows to launch protests in more states. Standoff in Kashmir as militants take over government building. PDP BJP to take a call on Jammu and Kashmir government formation soon. The Patel agitation leader Hardik Patel, who was on a hunger strike in jail, shifted to hospital. Pathankot attack center may allow Pakistan team to visit the airbase. Mumbai street vendors on taxman radar. Swear me in as Arunachal CM, Tukey urges the president. Fire ravages Bandipur Tiger Reserve, 500 acres gutted. PM launches Shyam Prasad Mukherjee Urban Mission under Ministry of Rural Development to provide urban facilities in villages. Coming to international sphere, Umberto Eco, Italian novelist and intellectual dies. Brendan McCallum breaks the fastest test record. UK PM calls for a European Union referendum. USA Defense Secretary to visit India soon. So this is your daily dose of current affairs, and you can also attend free online Civils Foundation course, February 2016 batch. Class timings are Monday to Friday, every evening 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have a weekend batch as well. To log into these classes, these are completely online classes. To log in, all you need is your computer with the internet connection. For login details, you can visit this page www.civilsonline2016.blogspot.in, or you can just contact us at the below contact details for any information on civils preparation. And also please subscribe to Civils Online YouTube channel for civils preparation videos and current affairs updates here by clicking on this link, or you just simply type Civils Online in YouTube to find the channel. Civils Online, one single word without any spaces. Yeah, so this is today's daily dose of current affairs. So this is Civils Online. Happy learning.